The woman of the Times we're about to meet is columnist Maureen Dowd. And who better to make the introduction than someone who's a former newspaper colleague of hers, who's now a colleague of ours. Here's Bill Geist with a Sunday Profile.
I used to work with Maureen Dowd here at the New York Times, where we sat desk to desk writing terribly witty feature stories. And I sometimes wonder, whatever became of that talented young woman?
Controversial columnist Maureen Dowd.
Maureen Dowd, nice to have you here.
And the author of a new book, Are Men Necessary? You ready?
Unless I happen to be watching almost any TV channel.
Am I not necessary?
Actually, men aren't necessary, but then neither is ice cream.
Or reading almost any printed matter of any kind. She's everywhere, promoting her new book. You said you don't like having a public persona, and you do now.
You know, it's hard. I'm like so shy and so terrified of TV that basically I just can't wait till I can crawl back to my secure, undisclosed location. I just hope Cheney isn't in it.
Seems she's done rather well since we worked together, having won the Pulitzer Prize, written 2 bestsellers, dated celebrities like Michael Douglas and West Wing creator Aaron Sorkin, and become the most powerful female columnist in the whole country. You still into eclectic decorating? It looks like it.
Yeah, too eclectic, I think.
Wow. I dropped in to catch up on things at her place in Georgetown.
Here's President Bush in his Top Gun outfit.
A house where John F. Kennedy once lived, although he probably decorated somewhat differently.
A friend of mine calls it a combination between the New York Public Library and the House of the Rising Sun.
Because of the red walls, maybe, yeah.
Well, I have a lot of stuff from traveling with presidents. A Mal lighter from a trip with Gord.
Oh.
Here's me and my mom.
Oh, there you go.
This was what she left me when she died, which was my dad's billy club. He was a DC police detective. Oh, this is us at Hawaii Kai.
That was my going away to TV land party. Back in those days, there was sort of an unwritten law that you weren't supposed to become a celebrity, or then the paper was always paramount. I remember they wouldn't even let some of us go on television.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so what happened?
I don't know, it's really weird. And the book publishing industry is all about narcissism and celebrity journalism, which I've always hated. But if you do a book you like, you have to do the stuff that you don't like to promote it.
Like it or not, Maureen Dowd has become a star.
I so enjoy reading it.
Rare indeed for a newspaper writer, and increasingly when someone asks, "Did you read Maureen today?" no last name is necessary. A flame-haired female writing colorful prose, she stands out in drab DC, and at the New York Times, a newspaper often referred to as the Gray Lady, where her color photograph pops out of the gallery of solemn black and white Times Pulitzer winners like a Chagall in a parking garage. She won the Pulitzer for her merciless and relentless criticism of Bill Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky affair, and she's now doing the same for President Bush over the war in Iraq.
I look at the White House as a Shakespearean court, and power and movements, abuse of power, who's trying to grab power for the wrong reasons. And so I view it that way, and I try and create a narrative for the reader. And here's a Cobra ashtray, because President Bush calls me Cobra. That's his nickname for me.
See if there's a likeness.
Oh, I've been called worse. It's hard because I don't want to scare people any more than I already am considered scary, so that's hard. You know, they're always using language to describe my column that involves sharp objects.
A lot of cutlery references.
Yeah, I have a castration complex,
Is
but it's the other way, going the other.
Fear of castrating?
Fear of being seen as castrating, yeah.
President Clinton joked about her sharp pen.
He made a joke at a White House Correspondents' Dinner about different fake headlines for different people, and mine was,
Buddy got what he deserved. By Maureen Dowd.
which was Buddy had been spayed, so.
She just doesn't seem to fit the image many readers have of the traditional Times columnist. Your picture in the Times Magazine with the fishnet stockings and the red pumps. I mean, some people would say, well, William Safire never wore fishnet stockings, you know.
He should have. He should have done that. Well, we were trying to make it look like a 40 shot.
Some view Maureen as a throwback to to the glamour, wit, and style of the 40s, 30s, and 20s when writers gathered at the Algonquin Round Table for droll banter.
Wouldn't you love a return to that
I
era?
would love a return. I was always trying to get you to come over to the Algonquin and play, you know, Robert Benchley, but
I
you
know,
would
I
never
was
go
too
for it.
skinny and not funny enough.
Lady of Spain, I adore you.
Such nostalgia is reflected in her townhouse, furnished with vintage art and furniture, and an old nickel-a-play jukebox filled with 45s.
These are the kind of songs you listen to at home by yourself on Saturday night. And a lot of nice cocktail shakers.
I know, I just love the shape of them. I love the idea of the 30s, although my mom told me that my fascination with the 30s is misplaced. She said it wasn't people dancing around in white hotel rooms like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. It was poor people standing in bread lines.
This book, published back in the Roaring 20s, inspired her provocative new title.
So the book is Are Men Necessary? And what is your conclusion?
Well, certainly for diversion, anyhow.
And for heavy lifting, isn't that what your mom said?
Yeah, that's what my mom said, for heavy lifting.
That seems like so demeaning to men. But not to worry, her book tweaks feminists as well.
I was kind of a post-feminist at the dawn of feminism because I thought, you know, I missed all the stuff they were kind of cutting out or frowning on, like high heels and fashion and talking about cute guys. And now that that's all young women do, now I'm a feminist. The daughters of feminists, you know, have just completely decided that baby boomer women, their life was too much of a grind, you know, they cut too much of the fun stuff out. And I think the only danger is that they're so busy kind of getting breast augmentations and text messaging their boyfriends that they might not be paying enough attention to who's going on the Supreme Court that might change women's rights for a generation.
It's very confusing. You said it's very confusing to women, kind of dependence, independence, and all that, but it's also very confusing to men.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you hold the door? Do you compliment the woman on her new bosoms? Well, what do you...
etiquette of plastic.
Exactly. What are you supposed to do? If Brad Pitt says the same thing in the office that I say to a woman, he goes to the motel and I go down to human resources and start filling out paperwork.
Then there's the question, who picks up the check?
The feminists made it very clear that you were supposed to pick up your half of the check, always. Now there's this thing called the offering, where at the end of the date, a woman makes, you know, a move toward her handbag. But if you let her pay her half of the bill, then you never see her again. It's like the new urban myth.
But there are no hard and fast rules when sexes collide.
I say in the beginning of the book, it's one broad generalizations. I just want to raise a bunch of funny, sexy questions about men and women that I've collected. So I think the important thing is, you know, even what these geneticists say is men and women have been in the muddle since the primordial soup, and that maybe we should just enjoy the muddle a little more.
Lady of Spain,
So we'll just have to grope our way through, which I know, it's a bad choice of words.
the night I first saw you.